Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Manahil Rumar Jawbali. I am a student of Rehan School, Kringi campus. I am delighted to have the opportunity to host today interview. We have a remarkable guest with us, and I am from Karachi, Pakistan. But before we dive into our conversation, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our esteemed guest, Ma'am Julie Silberman. Ma'am Julie is an entrepreneur with a unique focus on guiding conscious women back into their power and trust through embodiment practices. She also a sound therapy practitioner and infinitely diving. A former yoga instructor, a Blue Earth Yoga and Saloon, and she has a background of working with the United States Navy. Julie, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here today. We are eager to learn more about your life journey, experiences, and the incredible work you do. So without further ado, let's begin our conversation and get to know more about Ma'am Julie life journey. So, welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me your precious time. First of all, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Yeah, hi. My name is Julie, and I am a sound therapy practitioner and yoga instructor and also wellness coach. And I just love really helping people to find the healer within themselves and come back into their own body's wisdom so that they can really find their joy in life.
All right, that's really wonderful. Thank you so much for your introduction. So now let's move on to questions. My first question is on your screen. Can you tell us more about your journey as an entrepreneur and how you got started in guiding conscious women back into their power and trust through embodiment practices?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's been a really big journey for me of regaining my power in life after giving my power away so many times, people pleasing. And so I've learned through my own experience and my own embodiment practices really how to come back into my power. And so I love helping other women do the same thing.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is, how has your experience as a sound therapy practitioner at Infinitely Diamond influenced your approach to helping others with their well-being and consciousness?
Yeah, so sound therapy is so nourishing for the mind, the body, and the soul. And so it really, really helps people to connect back into their body, to create more relaxation, deeper meditation, and to just really have an overall healthier well being.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, you have a background as a former yoga instructor at Blue Earth Yoga and Saloon. How does yoga complement your work in guiding conscious women? And do you incorporate yoga into your practices?
Yes, definitely. I incorporate yoga into my practices. I practice yoga pretty consistently in my own life, and I love teaching yoga. I think it's so powerful of a practice to really help connect back into the body and back into the breath and just feel good and just kind of really embody that movement element along with the meditation element as well.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, your profile mentions that you work at the United States Navy. Can you share how your time there may have contributed to your current path in sound therapy and conscious empowerment?
Yeah, beautiful. So when I was younger, I was in the military, the United States Navy. I was a little bit unsure of my direction in life. And after I got out of the Navy, I had a lot of my own health challenges that I needed to work through. And I started with nutrition and then just really took a holistic approach to really my health, to really take the power of my health back. And something in the military is like you're really you're told what to do, and you don't really have a lot of power in your own voice and in your own intuition. And so that's been a big part of my journey of like relearning to trust myself and my own intuition after that experience. And so I think that's really led me into the work I do.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, what inspired you to focus on helping women, especially with their conscious empowerment and embodiment practices? I think
Um,
I
yeah, that's a great question. Specifically women with their empowerment and consciousness practices, because I feel like I can relate directly to them and to their experience because I've gone through this experience myself. I have felt powerless and I have felt defeated and I have felt out of my body. And so, as a woman, helping other women is really close to my heart. And I feel like I can just share a similar experience as I'm kind of helping them through their process.
All right, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, could you explain some of the key techniques or practices you use to guide women back into the power and trust?
Yeah, definitely. So some techniques I use, I focus a lot on nervous system regulation at first because I think we need to like feel calm in the body, and then some grounding as well. And then also we do like a lot of focus on building the relationship with the intuition and what that feels like and how we can learn to trust it. And then we also use different self-care practices, and embodiment practices are really getting back into the body. So this could be movement, this could be dancing, this could be stretching, breathing, whatever the person is needing, but it's really to get in the body and integrate into the cellular level of the body.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your answer. So, how do you see the intersection of sound therapy and embodiment practice, and how does it benefit those you work with?
Yeah, beautiful. So sound therapy um, is really calming for the nervous system and really relaxing. So it almost like helps the person get in their body without really having to try. It really helps to calm the mind. And so it can be nourishing for the body. So it kind of pairs with the embodiment practices. It's really, it's a lot of nervous system regulation. And again, coming back into our center. And how it helps is because when we can be in our body and when we can trust ourselves, and from that place, then we're more in our power. We feel more confident. We feel more radiant. We're stronger in our boundaries. And so we just are really like more in flow and more thriving in life.
All right, great answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, what have been some of the most rewarding moment or transformation you have witnessed in the woman you began guided on the journey to empowerment?
Yeah, some of the biggest transformations are really people moving from a place of a lot of anxiety to really a lot of calmness, and really dedicating more time to their self-care practices, having consistent self-care practices, and then being able to like self-regulate. So some of my clients reported, even months after we work together, when they're out and they're feeling anxiety, they know how to manage it now. They can take some breaths, and they have that greater level of awareness. And so that it feels really good that when I work with them, these practices continue on with them in their life.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, can you share any advice, tips for of women who are looking to connect with their inner power and trust through embodiment practices?
Yeah, definitely. So anybody that's looking to connect their inner power and their trust through embodiment practices, I would say just pick one thing, start a practice, whether it's some dancing, some yoga, meditation, breathing. Just pick something that really helps to get you in your body. Maybe you go spend some time in nature, and then try to do this consistently during the week and just notice the difference when you're doing it. Notice how you feel, because when we can do it over and over again, then we create a practice. And then when the chaos kind of comes up, we can really tune back in and be in our body. So I would just say find something, maybe something that you loved as a child, or something that really feels nourishing and brings you joy.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. So, what are your future plans and aspirations in your journey of guiding conscious women, and how do you envision your work evolving in the coming years?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I imagine some more collaboration with other women who are also wanting to help women in this way. And I really would love to be able to offer in-person retreats and take this globally and speak on stages and guide women in embodiment practices in big rooms worldwide, globally. I'd really love to share it on a bigger scale with a couple of other people, so kind of in a collaboration.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is, can you share a memorable success story or transformation of a woman you we work with through your embodiment practices?
Yeah, so definitely. One woman particularly I worked with, she came in and she was in a very dark place mentally. She thought maybe she would relapse, and she I could feel she was very closed off when we started working together, and then over the weeks she started to feel more safe with me. She opened up, she trusted me more. And then she really started to integrate the self-care practices into her daily life. And when by the time we were finished, she was like a new person. Her mental state was refreshed, she was thriving, she was doing things she loved to do. Now she's going back to school for something she loves, and so her whole life really changed into really like embodying more of who she was, because now she had these tools to be able to use when challenges came up.
All right, great answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, in your work, you mentioned helping women reconnect with their power and trust. Could you explain what this meaning to you and how it manifests in your session?
Yeah, so when people are reconnecting with their power and their trust, they're learning to be embodied in their truth and their alignment. And so we learn to connect to our intuition and to really listen, because we have all the answers we need inside of us. We don't need people telling us what to do. We are going to know what's best for us, but it's really learning to tune into that and connect with that. And so when people are able to do that, then they can move in life from an empowered way, so they are confident when they make decisions. They know if it's a yes or a no. They know what the situations they want to be in or not be in. And it's just a really more empowered way of living, because we feel that confidence. And when we feel that confidence, we're like, there's that certainty. And so we're really able to feel radiant because we're so certain in our decisions.
All right, great answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is, how did your experience as a yoga instructor and working in the United States maybe influence your journey towards becoming a sound therapy practitioner and guiding conscious women?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the Navy, again, it was, really um, being so disconnected from my power and from who I was, that and having a lot of health issues. And so when I got out of the Navy, it was like really reclaiming my health back. And actually, I found sound therapy before I found yoga. Well, I was practicing yoga, but I became a sound therapy practitioner and then I became a yoga instructor. And I really feel like the two blend really well together. So the sound therapy is really relaxing and nourishing. And then yoga can also be relaxing and nourishing, but a little more active. But it's kind of like coming in from different angles and using them synergistically to really create the best outcome.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is, what are some common challenges that conscious women face today, and how do your practices address these challenges?
That's a beautiful question. So I feel like a lot of conscious women um, face the challenges of like not only mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, things like that, but also really some kind of self-sabotaging challenges like not feeling worthy, not feeling confident, not feeling like they deserve whatever it is they want, not feeling like they fit in. And so I know that's like a really big challenge. And so these practices can really help to move through that and overcome that.
All right, ma'am. Great answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, how do you balance your spiritual and practical aspect of your work, particularly in the realm of sound therapy and embodiment practices?
Beautiful. So, I see like spiritual is nowadays it's kind of like termed as like this separate thing, but spiritual it's a way of living and it doesn't need to be made into this separate thing. So it can just be integrated into the experience. So my practices are very grounding. They could bring messages or clarity in other ways, but they're also, because they're embodiment practices, we're really getting into the body and using really tools that are very, very earthly. They could be etheric too, but I think it's a nice balance of both.
All right, that's really good answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, could you uh, share some insights into the significance of sound and vibrant inhaling and self discovery?
Yeah, so sound and vibration are so healing for the mind, body, and the spirit. And so when we are in a journey of self awareness, we can use sound as a tool to come back into the body, to open the heart, to drop into a deeper meditation, to really calm the mind and create that relaxation so that we can connect in, we can receive insights, we can kind of clear out any of the muck that's like in the physical body or the mental body, and then we find more clarity, and then that can lead us to more guidance in our self-discovery.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is, what advice would you give to individuals who are interested in exploring sound therapy and embodiment practices for their personal growth and empowerment?
Yeah, anybody interested in exploring sound therapy and embodiment practices, I would say, there are tons of videos. I have a YouTube channel, there's tons of videos on YouTube. And if you can find a sound healing in your local area, a yoga class, a sound bath, I would recommend to try it out because they can be so powerful. And try out a couple different teachers because you have to find the teacher that resonates with you, that you can really form that relationship with. So I would just say, try it out and see what works for you. And and then try something else if it doesn't work. Kind of just experiment with sound therapy and different types of embodiment practices like yoga or dancing or walking, or breathing, things like that.
All right, great answer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, my next question is: are there any particular meditation or mindfulness exercise you recommended for women looking to start their journey towards conscious empowerment?
Beautiful. So, for meditations, there's a couple different ways you can practice meditation. One is just simply breathing and just focusing on the breath as you inhale and exhale. Another one you can do is guided. You can do any guided meditations. So the app Insight Timer, I have some meditations on there, but there's tons of free meditations on Insight Timer, and you can do a guided meditation, which if you're just starting out, a guided meditation can be really supportive because maybe it's hard to focus on the breath and calm the mind. So if you're listening to somebody's voice, then that can be really helpful. And as far as mindfulness practices, I think that just simple things like if you're in the shower or you're doing the dishes or, just whatever you're doing, you can start to notice your senses and just like, what do you smell? What does it feel like? What are you hearing? And just become aware of your surroundings. And that really helps us to become more present in the moment.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. My next question is: as someone who has worked across different fields, including the Navy, yoga, and sound therapy, how do you see these diverse experiences converging in your mission to guide conscious women?
Yeah, I think because I've had my experience in the United States Navy, um, I can really reach a greater number of women because I've had this experience that maybe not a lot of women have had, especially because it's a mostly male dominated kind of service. And so I can relate to some of the struggles and challenges that we as women kind of were in during that. And then also, I've reclaimed my health and my sovereignty and my well being and my power through yoga and sound therapy. And so, I kind of have that aspect and this other aspect. And so I think, yeah, it just helps me to really reach more people.
All right, ma'am, that's a really good answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is: how do you stay connected with your own sense of power and trust on a daily basis, and how does it influence your work?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. So for me, my daily practices, I meditate every morning. That's just like a non negotiable for me to get up and meditate. I have a journaling practice. And then I also practice a little bit of movement, whether it's a little bit of dance, a little bit of yoga. And then I also take walks. I usually take walks once or twice a day. Um, and when I'm journaling, I also, I journal out just whatever wants to come out. And I also ask, how can I help? What my guides want me to share with my community. And so I really tune into how I can help others and kind of let that guide how I show up in my life and in my work.
Great answer. Thank you so much for your answer. So, what are some key takeaways or lessons you hope your clients and followers gain from their experience with you?
Um, Yeah, I love this. So, really, my intention is for people to really connect into their own inner wisdom, for people to be able to slow down and integrate and prioritize themselves and their self care. Because when we are full and overflowing, then we have more to give, and then we're more efficient in our work and in our life and in our relationships. And so I think if after people work with me or if they're following me and watching me, if they can show up for themselves in a greater way and feel more empowered in their life, then I feel like that would really bring me a lot of joy and feel really fulfilling to me because I think when we're in our power and we're in our purpose, then we radiate in the world and then, everybody can feel that. And so I think that's really important.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. So, lastly, how can individual interested in your work connect with you or learn more about the services you offer?
Yeah, beautiful. So there's a couple ways people can connect with me. My website is www.jasalchemy.com, jasalchemy.com. And so that's one way. My Instagram is at Thriving with Julie. And then I also have a YouTube channel. And if you just Google or if you just YouTube sound activations with Julie, that's going to be all of my sound healing stuff. And they're all interconnected. So if you find me on one platform, you should be able to find all the other platforms as well. Feel free to send me a DM. My DMs are open, and I would love to just hear and chat with anybody.
All right, great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer, for your valuable answer. And as our conversation comes to close, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to ma'am Julie for joining us today and sharing her inspiring journey and insights. Ma'am Julie, your dedication to guiding conscious women back into their power and trust through embodiment practice is truly admirable, and your diverse experience from sound therapy to yoga and even your time with the United States Navy have shaped a remarkable path. We gain a valuable insight from your experiences and expertise, and I'm sure our audience has found your words both enlightening and motivating. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and for giving your valuable answers.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a wonderful day ahead.